The Nun is the 5th movie in the Conjuring universe that tells the story, the backstory anyway, of the nun demon that appeared in the Conjuring 2. Now I know a lot of you may be very surprised that I'm doing a spoiler review for a horror movie, let alone a horror movie that was in the Conjuring franchise. Believe me guys, I had no intention of seeing this movie. I didn't want to get scared, but when you have friends who like horror movies, sometimes it's inevitable. So yeah, the whole day when my friends and I were planning on seeing this movie, I was bracing myself for it. Just telling myself, alright, you're gonna be terrified, you're gonna get scared, you're probably gonna nearly pee your pants, but you're gonna power through it because you're a movie reviewer and you gotta get a review up for this movie. So I gotta get through it. And I'm here to tell you guys right now, as far as horror movies go, this is probably one of the least effective horror movies I've seen in a very long time. And I'm saying that. Getting into the opening scene of The Nun, I will say the first scene of this movie was actually pretty creepy and it was effective. You have these two nuns, they're in like this mansion building of some sort, you know, they're trying to go into this very creepy room that says God ends here written on it. One of the nuns goes into the creepy room, you know, and then she's trying to get out of there and she tells the other nun, this demon needs to possess something of the living, you have to get out of here, you have to run. She tells that to the other nun, so she runs away. The other nun just gets dragged in and gets killed. And then way on the other side of the mansion, the other nun just hangs herself as she sees the demon coming towards her. So yeah, she jumps out of the building, she commits suicide. And yeah, a nun committing suicide, that has the Vatican thinking, okay, something's wrong with this place, so we're gonna send a priest and a nun in practice over to that mansion of sorts to investigate it. So yeah, that opening scene, that was creepy, that was effective, and that had me thinking, oh boy, I'm in for some shit right now. Gotta say though, from this point forward is where this movie just falls apart almost entirely. I mean, you have the priest, Father Burke, and this practicing nun named Sister Irene, who's actually played by Vera Farmiga's younger sister. Vera Farmiga is the one who plays Lorraine Warren in the actual Conjuring movies. I thought that was at least a fun little fact for the movie. I will say, the actors who played the two of them, they do well, they give good performances. The problem is, I didn't really care for their characters. I mean, you see it in Sister Irene, she wants to become a nun. I mean, you see her past, you find out what she believes in, what she feels, but didn't care for that. And in the case with Father Burke, him wanting to exorcise this mansion for him is a bit of a redemption for himself because he frequently has these visions of this young boy who he tried to exorcise from a demon, and the exorcism ended up killing that boy. And really, like, you hear the stories behind the two of them, you feel like they could have had a really good backstory for them that would have made you care for them. The problem is, they mention that stuff briefly, they allude to some of it throughout the movie, but none of which to really make you get behind the characters. Not for me, anyway. And also, I'm gonna bring this up right now. The third character we get introduced to, this Frenchman who just goes by the nickname Frenchie. This motherfucker was so cheesy and corny, it's insane. It just goes all up to Sister Irene, he's flirting with her throughout the movie. He's like, oh, hello. My name is Frenchie. Who are you? Yo, he's going for that ultimate challenge. He's like, oh, nuns have sworn off sex for the rest of their life, but I'm gonna break it, because I'm that good. It's like, nah, bro, you can't flip the nuns or the lesbians no matter how strong your game is. But it's just kind of the thing with him. He delivers some lines that are just so cheesy, so corny. There's some moments of dialogue between him and other characters, and not even just with him and other characters, between other characters in general, that are just, they made me laugh. And that's what's kind of sad for this movie. The fact that there were moments of dialogue that I really did feel like the movie was trying to go for being serious, to build tension, to build intensity, that ended up making me laugh. Kind of means the movie failed at its job right there. There were seriously times I was sitting there watching this movie, I'm just like, is this meant to be a horror comedy? And when I realized it wasn't, I'm just like, oh, okay, well then this isn't good. Anyways, the three of them get to the mansion because Frenchie had told the two of them about the suicide, so he needs to lead them to there. They get to the mansion, and, you know, they're talking to this nun who's like the lead nun of the mansion, and, you know, she's got something covering her face, so you're not even entirely sure if she's real or not. I just hate how oblivious these characters are. It's like, you're literally at a mansion where a nun killed herself, and there's probably demons here, and, you know, this person who has their face covered is chatting with you right now. You're not going to stop to think, is this person real, or is this some demon that's just trying to mess with me? Literally at a point, she's all like, oh, the nuns are taking a vow of silence, but you can stay the night. Like, honestly, why would you stay the night there? You can't investigate this shit during the day? Oh, no, of course you can't, because demons don't like to come out to play during the day. They only come out at night. How foolish of me to forget that horror movie cliche. Getting into other horror movie cliches that I have a problem with, the characters moving towards shit that's actually scary and probably gonna kill them. I mean, of the horror movies I've seen, so many of them have instances where characters see something moving in the distance, they see something in the dark that's probably creepy looking, and instead of walking the opposite direction, which is what I would do, which is what a lot of smart people would do, they're like, nah, I'm gonna go see what that is. Like, you remember a Geico commercial from recent years that talks about how, like, you know, when you're in a horror movie, you do stupid things. It's just what you do. And, like, the psycho killer just seeing these dumb teens trying to hide behind the chainsaws, and even he's shaking his head. There were a lot of moments that had me like that. Like, there's one moment in particular, like, Frenchie, like, sees something in the shadows, like, lurking in this graveyard. Yeah, fucking graveyard. So he literally goes into the graveyard, and literally out of nowhere, what looks like a corpse of a nun just falls on him, it roars in his face, and then he screams. I'm gonna be honest with you guys right now. When he screamed when the nun, like, got right in his face, I actually laughed, because his scream, I didn't buy it. I did not buy the actor being scared. And so, you know, that moment happens, he picks up a cross for protection, and then Frenchie just leaves. That's the other thing I want to get to in this movie. This scares in this movie are jump scares. Jump scares is not what you want to use in a horror movie. Granted, I know every horror movie is gonna have some jump scares here and there, but jump scares are not what's going to have a lasting effect on your audience. It'll get them to jolt for a minute, and then they'll quickly move on. This movie is just jump scare galore. That's really all this movie is. Me being the bitch that I am, when I knew a creepy moment was coming, when I knew the tension seemed like it was building, I was looking at the movie like, oh god, what's gonna happen? I don't want to be scared. And then a jump scare would happen, I'd be like, ah! That's it? That's all you got? I don't care how easy a scare you are, jump scares don't have a lasting effect. They just don't. And even after, like, the first couple jump scares happening, whenever another creepy moment was happening, I would still, you know, try to do that thing where I'm covering my ears and trying to cover my eyes a little bit, because I feel like that's gonna relieve me being scared. But I failed to learn from the horror movies that have scared the shit out of me that that shit just doesn't help. But with all the jump scares happening, you're just like, okay, maybe at least the movie can, like, build on this investigation that'll at least lead to more creepy moments later, and we'll at least get a really epic, scary finale or something like that. Really, the build-up for this movie was boring as shit. I mean, on one side, you have Father Berg trying to do his investigation, trying to figure out exactly what's going on in the world, you know, confronting his past, doing what he's dealing with. But even more so than that, you have Sister Irene, who's, you know, learning how to be a nun. She's having meetings with the various nuns that are in this mansion, and they're telling her what they're trying to do to keep the evil at bay. It's constant praying. And they tell how this demon lurks around in this mansion. It takes the form of a nun, and it's gonna kill us all unless we are able to stop it. And, you know, you get a little backstory about how the demon once came into the mansion, but the church was able to stop it using the blood of Jesus Christ, which, you know, was entirely set up for later on in the movie. That's just it. None of these other nuns I really gave a shit for, and everything that was, you know, supposed to lead up to this big finale, none of it sucked me in. None of it captivated me. Getting to the end of this movie, Frenchie comes back with a shotgun because he wants to save the other two because he grew to give a shit for them, which, you know, none of the audience is able to do. But you realize in this moment that the demon has apparently gotten all of its powers. It's started to take effect on Irene, but you quickly realize that all these nuns that were praying, none of them were alive. They were all spirits. They were all killed, and they quickly realized, oh shit, the nun that killed herself at the very beginning, she sacrificed herself, so the demon nun, wouldn't be able to possess her body because it needs to possess a nun, and now that Irene has been made an official nun, now the demon's going after her. I will say, this finale, when it happens, when you see the actual demon itself and it's doing what it's doing, again, it does add for some creepy moments. It adds for some tension-filled moments. I will give it that. The problem is, everything with the demon kind of ends abruptly. I mean, literally, Sister Irene, she's taken over by the demon. She's talking about how, oh, there's nothing you can do. Meanwhile, earlier, the three of them had gotten the artifact that contained the blood of Christ, and, you know, Frenchie just throws a little bit of that on the demon's face that's possessing Irene, and so the demon's able to get out of Irene's body because, you know, she's now been exorcised. They freed her. Yeah, Sister Irene goes from being possessed to freed in the course of about, I don't know, 20 seconds. Now the demon itself is using its demon powers to, you know, attack Frenchie, attack Father Berg, knocks both of them out. It's trying to drown Irene. I think Irene's dead. The demon pulls the body out, then Irene actually spits the blood onto the demon, which defeats the demon, sends it back to hell, reseals the seal that it broke out of. The mansion's now freed. It's exorcised. So it's like, yeah, that finale has a few creepy moments here and there, but it's not really fulfilling. Not fulfilling enough from the long, drawn-out bullshit that you kind of had to deal with for the last, what was it, hour and a half? But apparently these Conjuring movies love setting up for their future movies, so at the very end of the movie, you see Frenchie has like an upside-down cross on his neck, and then at the very end, you go back to, well, it's not present day, but it's back when the Warrens were doing their thing. You see a video of them doing an exorcism with Frenchie, and he's not responding well to it, which has me thinking, oh, there's your plot for The Conjuring 3. So all in all, The Nun kinda sorta failed miserably as a horror movie. The two main actors do a fine job for what they need to do, but the problem is I didn't care about their characters. Frenchie was a complete cheese fest of a character. I didn't care for him. The dialogue in this movie is not captivating, it's not sucking you in. If anything, you're gonna laugh at it. The investigation in the mansion, the build-up towards everything that happens at the end, it's all just boring. The movie has a couple creepy, effective moments here and there, but everything else is just a bunch of jump scares. And guys, here's the best way I can sum up how this horror movie failed. It didn't have an effect on me. I can't handle horror movies. I hate being scared. I'm the easiest scare in the world. I saw this movie in the middle of the night. I literally drove home that night where it's dark out. I got into my house where all the lights were off. I made it to my room. I went to bed. I slept like a baby. Really effective horror movies that I have seen, those have kept me up all night. This one, not at all. That's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time. In the end, I was having none of this movie. I'll see myself out.